Assalamu alaikum. It's that time of Ramadan as we approach the last week when people are now wondering when Eid al Fitr will be. So, by popular demand, we'll go through our annual cycle of trying to estimate and predict and actually inform you when Eid al Fitr is likely to be. So, before we do that, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you can keep up to date and make sure you like this video. So, when is Eid al Fitr likely to be? So, on today's agenda, first we'll look at what Saudi Arabia will be doing. As we know, a lot of people will be looking towards them. We'll then look at when it's likely to be in the UK based on the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, which is to sight the moon, and actually the command of the Prophet ﷺ to sight the moon. We'll also look at Morocco being the closest country to us, but also on sharing a lot of the characteristics when it comes to sighting of the moon. And then we'll look at Saudi Arabia if they were sighting the moon. And as you know, they don't sight the moon, they follow their predetermined calculated calendar. But if they were sighting the moon, when would they likely to be? And so in summary, as we know, a lot of you people, like to move on and can't stand long videos, which is a shame, really. Our attention span is getting smaller, but if you really want to get knowledge, get insights into Islam and anything else, you've really got to put the hours in, got to put the time in. If you can't give a few minutes to find out something about Islam, then that's a really poor show on your part, and you are leaving yourself open to misguidance and destruction in this world and the next. So do put the time in for this knowledge and seeking knowledge and detailed knowledge, and not looking for 30-second snippets, because that ain't going to tell you anything. Most likely, most of the people giving you 30-second snippets are pulling the wool over your eyes. But back to this topic. So the UK Ramadan, based on moon sighting, should be on Monday, the 31st of March. There's virtually no chance of it being the 30th of March, because we will look for it on Sunday, the 30th of March. Those who began on this Ramadan on Sunday. Some people did claim to sight the moon on the last day of February, and they began their fast on the 1st of March. They will obviously look for it on the evening of the 29th of March. But even though they will, it's highly unlikely, as in practically no chance of them being able to sight the moon. So, irrespective of when you started your Ramadan, all should be celebrating Eid on Monday, the 31st of March. Those who follow the sighting of the moon. Saudi are expected to announce Eid, as you should say, not Ramadan, on the 30th of March, based on their predetermined calculator. And we knew this 10 years ago, as I said in my earlier videos. So do watch those earlier videos as well, even though the time has passed, but they've got some good knowledge on moon sighting and some of the concepts around that. I'm hoping, and all of us are hoping, that they will see sense and actually look to sight the moon, because even the calculations are really dubious, and they really have absolutely no chance of sighting the moon on Saturday, and they should not be performing Eid on Sunday, the 30th of March. So let's hope that they see sense, but it's unlikely that they will. The moon will be visible again in the western parts of the US on Saturday 29th. But this is too late for us. So they will celebrate Eid on Sunday, the 30th of March, on the western parts of the US, because they should be able to sight the moon by the time the evening arrives in that part of the world. But that's far too late for us, and we can't go with that, because by the time they sight the moon, we'll be waking up for Fajr in the morning. So moving on to the detail, as you know, Saudi, most of the Gulf and their followers in Europe will follow that. Based on their predetermined calendar, we knew 10 years ago they plan to declare Eid for the 30th of March 2025. Just for your information, Eid al Adha, based on the calendar, will be on 6th of June. So get those dates in if you are going to follow them. I haven't actually worked out when it's possible to sight the moon. We'll do a video closer to the time. Next year's Ramadan, they will start on Wednesday, the 18th of February, based on that. And their calendar is based on the birth of the moon, not when it is sightable. And that's our main objection with them, because we want to be able to sight the moon. The words of the Prophet ﷺ are absolutely clear. Begin your Ramadan and end your Ramadan by sighting the moon, not on the birth of the moon, on sighting of the moon. Again, this is an extract from dates from the Saudi calendar, and you can see on that we shared this last time, we shared this last year, and those dates are coming to fruition as we speak. UK moon sighting, we'll search for it on the evening of Saturday 29th of March or Sunday the 30th of March, depending on when people began their Ramadan. Two basic elements. How old is it? That determines the size. As we said, the bigger the better. And the older it is, the bigger it gets. And we need at least 15 to 16 hours at the very, very minimum. I said last time that that's probably the earliest I've found. And that was from the US Naval, who were once able to, not every time, but once able to sight it when it was around 15 to 16 hours. That's the absolute bare minimum that we've got. But most scientists will say you've got to get close to 24 hours, at least over 20 hours. So the moon's got to be at least 20 hours old, if not close to 24 hours, to be able to be sighted. But anything over 15 to 16 will say there's a chance of it being sighted based on observation. And also, how long does it stay above the horizon? It's got to be there for an amount of time for us to be able to see it. And if it's hardly there, you're not going to be able to catch it. So there needs the moon needs to be above the horizon after sunset for at least 45 minutes. So we want to see how old it is. It's got to be at least 20 hours, and it's got to be at least 45 minutes on the horizon for us to be able to sight it. Anything less than that, reduces the chances of being sighted. And the further away it is, there's reducing and declining chance of it being sighted. So looking at the stats for Birmingham in the UK, which is in the centre, on the 29th of March, the moon age will be at sunset of 7 hours and 39 minutes. That's far, far away from anybody's claim of being able to sight the moon. So there's absolutely, the moon will not be of an age where it should be sighted. Sunset's going to be 1836, the moon will set at 1902. So there's a visibility window of 26 minutes. So even though, barely any chance of the moon being big enough for us to sight it, even the visibility window is far less than it should be. So it's virtually impossible, if not impossible, for us to sight the moon on Saturday, 29th of March. Therefore, we should not be celebrating Eid on Sunday the 30th. We're going on to Sunday the 30th, which will be the 29th for most of the people in the UK who sighted the moon. That will be 31 hours and 40 minutes. And we'll have an hour and 59 minutes of visibility window. So, on both accounts, in terms of the size of the moon and on the visibility window, there's an excellent chance. So it's likely that those who fasted on Sunday the 2nd of March are going to have 29 days of Ramadan this year based on moon sighting. And when you do sight the moon on the 29th night, it really does bring you a lot of joy. So this also shows us this misnomer, and we have a lot of these people trying to, clutching at straws to try and justify their position for following Saudi, is that when they see the moon and they say, look at the size of the moon, that's certainly a 2-day moon. Now the 2-day moon doesn't exist. What they're trying to say is that this moon is big enough that it's more than 24 hours old. But as I said on the earlier slide, it's got to be at least 20 hours old for you to sight it. And it's very rare that you're going to sight a moon that's less than 24 hours old. So whenever you do see a moon, it's going to be over 24 hours old. So, but you can't call it the 2nd-day moon because it's over 24 hours old, because this was the first possible sighting of the moon. So the first possible sighting makes it the first day, which means that the first day moon will be at least 20 hours old, and it could be up to 48 hours old, depending on when the moon was born and when your sunset was. So this is an absolute misnomer, and those who claim this really are braving their ignorance and showing themselves up. So they really should stop doing that. If this wasn't a serious matter of moon sighting and our ibadah and our worship, it'd be a laughing matter, but in fact it's a crying matter how people brave their ignorance. So we should have a strong chance of sighting the moon on Sunday the 30th of March. So all those people who sight the moon, irrespective of when they started Ramadan in the UK, they will be celebrating Eid most likely on Monday the 31st of March. So those people who are following moon sighting in the UK and following the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, they can now, with confidence, book and take Monday the 31st of March as leave from school, from college, from university, or from work. And Morocco, let's have a look at Morocco. You can see virtually the stats are virtually the same as the UK. If anything, they're a bit down. They've got less visibility window to us, but so they won't be sighting the moon on Saturday 29th because they started on Sunday the 2nd of March. So the Saturday 29th will still be their 28th fast. So they'll be heading into the 29th night on that evening. So they won't be sighting it on that evening. They look for it on their 29th night, which will be Sunday the 30th of March. So they'll try to look for it on Sunday, the 30th of March, and based on those stats, of it being at least 31 hours old and having a visibility window of nearly 2 hours, there's absolutely excellent chance of them sighting it. And I said before, because the numbers are identical to the UK, we do often use Morocco as a reference point. Not saying that we always follow them, but we use them as a reference point because the stats, line up with our stats, and they're on the same number. So Morocco will sight it, or should sight it, on the 30th of March. So they will be doing 29 days and celebrating Eid on Monday, the 31st of March, inshallah. Now, if we were in Mecca and they were sighting the moon, let's have a look at the stats. So remember, this will be on Saturday 29th, this will be the 29th day, so they will be sighting the moon, trying to find the moon on the 29th evening. If they did that, the age of the moon will only be 4 hours, so there's absolutely impossible chance of being able to sight the moon. You cannot see the moon at 4 hours with the naked eye, even with a strong telescope, unless you've got something which is, absolutely massive from NASA. You've got no chance of sighting the moon at that particular moment in time. And they've only got a visibility window of 8 minutes, so they really got to be busy. They'll be opening the fast, let alone looking for the moon. There's absolutely no chance of it being sighted on Saturday, 29th of March, so they should not, under any circumstances, be celebrating Eid on Sunday, the 30th of March. They will be, but that's their problem, not ours, and problem of those who follow them. There's absolutely no chance of the moon being sighted in Makkah or in Saudi Arabia on Saturday, 29th of March. The next day, the moon will be 28 hours old and they'll have a visibility window of just over an hour. So there's a good chance. I'm not saying there's an excellent chance. We've got an excellent chance in the UK. Based on proper moon sighting, it's possible that UK would do the Eid before Saudi, would do the Eid before Saudi Arabia, because we've got an excellent chance of sighting the moon. They've got what I would call just above the borderline. They said they need 24 hours, so they should really see it on a clear night. They're an hour. So they've got a good chance of seeing the moon. And now at this point again, they will see them. So they will celebrate on Sunday the 30th, and when they get to their second night of the month of Shawwal, which will be Sunday the 30th, people should be able to see the moon, and they'll see a moon that's 28 hours old. So that will be a very, very thin moon compared to what they've normally seen. So again, you'll see that won't be a second day moon because it's only 28 hours old. But people, so they should be able to notice that this moon is quite thin compared to normal circumstances. That should be a moon that they really should have sighted on the 29th night. For the second night of the month, of the new month, that moon should not be at that site. So hopefully people who see that will be able to judge for themselves. And based on our fiqh position, they really then should make up the fast that they missed on Sunday the 30th of March. But may Allah Ta'ala give them guidance, and may Allah Ta'ala give all of us guidance. May Allah Ta'ala accept our fast of Ramadan, keep us on the straight path, keep us on the path of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and allow us to perform Eid on the right day, because it's great barakah and blessings of Eid on the right day. The angels come down and line our paths and make dua for us. Allah Ta'ala accepts our ibadat on the day of Eid. So it's a bit shame if we do it on the wrong day. Heading to the mosque and the angels aren't there because it's still the day of Ramadan. That would be a great shame. So appeal to everybody, come back to the straight path, follow the moon sighting, and not just follow hearsay and this wishy-washy stuff that you pick up on YouTube and on TikTok and whatever. Really do your research, follow the ulama, follow the scholars of Islam. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Make sure you subscribe and like the channel.